like an educated whiskey sipper, I feel like would say that there are like things that you can key in on that aren't so great about this. That's
Wow.
yeah, I
An
know. Yeah.
educated whiskey sipper would notice it's terrible.
All right, everybody, welcome back. This is the Reentry Buzz. Cole and I here have a blind sample in front of us. No idea what it is. Only idea is that it is number 255 sample in our pool. Could be anything. We're going to sniff it, sip it, tell you how much we'd pay for it right now. You ready, Cole?
Yep. One thing, it's kind of dark.
I know. Yeah, it's a beautiful kind of brown, tannish, tea, amber kind of. There's a
Yeah.
little red in there too. I like it. Nose is very mellow. All right.
Interesting.
How much would you pay for this?
I'm going to go with 75.
I'm going to take the under. I'm going to go 70. Close, but under. There are things I like about this, but then the things I don't like about this hit me and make me be like, oh, was it as good as I thought originally? We'll tell you more
Yeah.
later.
And I am without a guess so far. Like, I got nothing on this. So
Same.
we'll take a few more sips. But before we do that, we'll take a break, but we'll take our guesses and we'll say our guesses and we'll say our notes on the other side. Here we go to break.
All right, everybody, welcome back. So this is like, I kind of regret saying $70. I think I took the under on Cole and now I'm taking the under on myself. I went through this.
Under where?
I know, under there. I took the under on myself here where my willingness to pay for whatever this is almost non-existent.
Really?
So
That bad to you?
that being the case, yes, it is.
Wow.
That being the case, let's see. I want you to guess first. So I'm going to do my notes first. And I'm going to say, so on the nose, I thought this was maple, caramely, and mildly sugary sweet. There's like a fake sugary thing about this that I got on the nose. On the palate, I will say the number one thing, my favorite thing about this whiskey, if I had to put a pin on my favorite thing about this whiskey, is that there's a sugary, syrupy viscosity about this.
I agree.
That only exists for the first like 3 seconds that it hits your palate. And then over time, it gives way to this youthy burn that, in my opinion, seems like the whiskey is blended or finished to mask a very youthy component.
So you think it's finished, I see.
Or blended. But yeah, I think that this is a whiskey that they're trying to sell because it's tasty up front and they're trying to mask a very youthy and unpleasant thing about this. On the finish, as it lasted, my palate said that it was hot and youthy late on the finish. I got a cherry NyQuil note, like straight up cherry NyQuil, like very late on the finish. That just was like alcohol, alcohol late on the finish. So I think that, to be clear, where I'm at here, whatever this is, I feel like they did a good job of masking whatever the youthy component is here, because this is generally relatively tasty, but I do not at all think that this is a good whiskey.
You know, we're going to, based on the things you've given away from just your notes, I think we're going to be very different in our guesses. So I'll go through my notes. I said nose, bourbony, slightest notes of chocolate, but not in an unpleasant way. Sometimes you get like a Tootsie Roll chocolate, and it's not a great thing. And then I said on the palate, this does have some proof to it, but pleasant, but nothing too amazing. Chocolate still shows up, but it's not bad or overwhelming. It seems that this is between 8 to 12 years, is what I said, based on the oak development I was getting. On the finish, I said, gives a slight candy note, but still not sure if this is a bourbon or a rye, but I'm pretty convinced it's an American whiskey. So you want me to guess first?
I do very much.
All right. I hedged a little bit, but not a lot. I said type rye. Secondary grain, I said corn. Brand, I said Bernheim.
Oh,
I could see this being a wheat whiskey.
Okay.
I said distillery Heaven Hill. Proof, I said 115. Age, I said 9 years. Hedged a little bit there because Bernheim's 7 years typically.
That's our biggest differential. Yeah.
Okay. And then finished, I actually said no. I said this is not finished. Bottle, I said Bernheim barrel proof. So,
nice.
Yeah. And then
score?
I said
What'd you think?
8.6. I don't think it's great, but I actually don't think this is terrible. It sounds like I think it's a lot better than you think it is. So
well, okay. So and you know, I kind of hinted at my dollar. What would I pay for this, or what would I not pay for this? Yeah. How do you feel about this bottle? If now that you've sipped it a couple times, if it was $75 on the shelf, do you think you'd buy it? No. Probably wouldn't buy it. If it was $45 on the shelf, do you feel like you'd buy it?
Maybe.
It's a maybe at 45. Okay. All right. So I'll go through my guesses. So I said type bourbon. You said rye, right?
I said rye.
Okay, cool. So I'm bourbon on this, but I am definitely secondary rye. I feel like there's a spice brightness to this that to me is like a secondary rye. I wanted to go MGP. So distillery said MGP. And so for brand, I was a little up in the air. I don't even remember what I had at first, but now final guess is Nulu. I said, so it's a Nulu MGP.
Interesting.
Proof, very close to you. I said 118.
Yep. Okay.
But for age, I was very much younger, and I said 4. But here's the thing: I said 4 years, but it tastes like something a distillery wouldn't want to own up to. So I believe that this is a non-age statement.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. Obviously, there's no points for saying it's non-age stated. Nonetheless, this is like the caliber of whiskey where I feel like the distillery would be like, let's just not put an age statement on this.
Yeah.
For finished, I said yes, and my finished choice is maple. Because the one thing that I was finally happy that I remembered, like a memory jog here, is Widow Jane Decadence. That's my bottle guess. So I want to go with an MGP maple finished bourbon. I'm pretty sure is Widow Jane.
Gotta be a bourbon.
Yeah, that's my bottle guess. For score, I said D+. It is
low.
It is not so great. I think flat D is where I say it clearly stands out as being bad. It doesn't quite clearly stand out as being bad. I feel like, oh man, this sounds a little conceited, but like an educated whiskey sipper, I feel like would say that there are like things that you can key in on that aren't so great about this.
Wow.
Yeah,
an educated whiskey sipper would notice it's terrible.
Yeah. Is the YouTube handle educated whiskey sipper available?
Yeah. We'll see.
It turns out this is double eagle
William LaRue.
Rare.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, D+, not so great. That's where I landed on this, and I am ready for the reveal if you are.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Oh, I was not that far off. Oh. You were repping this hard. Here's what we got.
I did.
Wait. Maker's Mark, the Lost Recipe series. This is very different than our drink along.
Okay. Huge shout out to Cole. Huge shout out to Cole. He said a chocolate note earlier,
Yep.
and I was big on the chocolate notes of this. Wait, have we even said what this? Oh, you held it up, but Maker's Mark Lost Recipe. That's what this is. So we're gonna have to take a break real quick, calculate the scores. We'll get back to you.
I got a better
final
proof.
Tally is. I know. We'll tell you how
you got
stacked
bourbon
up right after this break. All right, everybody, welcome back. So we were drinking Maker's Mark, The Lost Recipe 2024 edition, the very first lost recipe that's ever come out.
And only 700 milliliters.
That's true.
Jerks,
funny that you remember
jerks over in Loretto.
I know, right? Well, we did this as a drink along, though. If you ever wanted to try this, despite how much I shat on it, this was a drink along sample for the Chill Filtered Patreon members. But this was Maker's Mark, The Lost Recipe. This was 111.9 proof with no age statement, if I remember correctly. Going through the guesses here, Cole guessed rye whiskey. I guessed bourbon. I got some points there, 5. Cole guessed secondary grain corn, which honestly was a great guess because it's got good like sweetness, sugary sweetness there.
So corny.
But I said rye. It was secondary grain wheat, if you know your Maker's Mark.
For the record.
0 points.
Brian was like, so we had secondary grain rye here? And I'm like, dude, it's Maker's Mark.
yeah. Maker's is secondary grain.
He was in the zone. He was in the zone. He knows what Maker's is. Yeah.
I saw the point tally accumulating and there were dollar signs in my eye.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. For brand, Cole said Bernheim and I said Nulu. Cole was close, but it was Maker's Mark. Distillery Heaven Hill versus MGP. Nope. Maker's Mark.
Neither.
Proof. Cole was the closer one on the proof. So shout out to Cole there. Proof was 111.9. Cole said 115 and I was at 118. I took the over on that. No dice. Well, I did get 4 points and Cole got 7. Yeah. Age. This is non-age stated. Cole thought it was around 9 and I thought it was around 4 for the record. For finish though, here's the deal. Cole said no. I said yes. My guess was maple, but this explicitly states on the bottle, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, barrel finished with 10 oak staves. So this is finished, and I did get 2 points for this because I said yes to finish. Bottle guess, Bernheim barrel proof versus my Widow Jane Decadence. Nah, neither of us had any idea here. Cole's score was pretty good, though, 8.6. Overall, how do you feel about the way that you rated this?
I'm proud of it. I'd still give it the same rating.
Yeah. I'm shocked personally. Nice. My score of D+ not so great almost clearly stands out as being bad. As I alluded to, I felt like this was a whiskey where whoever it was blended or finished it in a way to cover up a youthful whiskey. My original sentiment about this Maker's Lost Recipe was that it was actually pretty good and one of my more favorite Maker's Marks. And then now to blindly just burn it as much as I burnt it. Maybe I'm just not a Maker's guy. I don't know. Yeah. But the point total here, how this stacked up was Brian 11, Cole 7. Not a shutout this season. Yeah. Thank you for watching where Brian finally gets his one win this season.
1-3. 1-3. Yeah. I was proud of myself though. I really caught on to those wheat notes. And
I'm proud of you too. And you almost shut me out. Almost. I was sweating.
If I had only chosen corn as the or the type as bourbon, I would have won.
That's right. Oh yeah, just barely. It would have been 12-11.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, that's how the game is played, and that's how you play the game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but I honestly am very proud of myself. I caught onto those wheat notes, and I was like, "There's something weedy about this," and that was what was really getting me. So, but I was a little off. But still, wheat in the recipe, which there isn't always the case.
True.
But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. hope you guys are cheering for Bryan, because he's gonna need it to win this season.
The underdog.
I'm already up. But yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next time on Chill Filters, the Re-Entry Bar. Yeah, we're only 3 in.
You've only won 3 in a row.
In a row.